Not like we just moved here from somewhere else and bought a piece of property and now we're upset about a train coming through.
Property owners in Sparta, Georgia, are fighting to save land that has been in their families for generations. Sandersville Railroad Company wants to use eminent domain to take portions of up to 18 properties so it can build a railroad that would be used by a private company, the Hanson Quarry.
My great-grandmother was born a slave on this property. For the past 100 years, it's been our property.
The Garretts and the not like we just moved here from somewhere else and bought a piece of property and now we're upset about a train coming through.
Property owners in Sparta, Georgia, are fighting to save land that has been in their families for generations. Sandersville Railroad Company wants to use eminent domain to take portions of up to 18 properties so it can build a railroad that would be used by a private company, the Hanson Quarry.
My great-grandmother was born a slave on this property. For the past 100 years, it's been our property.
The Garretts and the old Moors came here after the Civil War, and they have been here ever since on this property.
Well, my land in Hancock County, Georgia, was owned by my grandfather. He, being a sharecropper and a farmer, gave the land to my dad, and my dad gave it to me. And it's my intention to give it to my kids. It's an opportunity to create generational wealth within the family.
In March 2023, Sandersville filed a petition with the Georgia Public Service Commission asking for permission to use the state's power of eminent domain to take the land that Sandersville wants in Sparta.
If this happens, where would it stop? Another company can come in and say, you know what, I like the front of your yard. I think I'd like to open up me a store right here, so I'm gonna buy your property and make you move.
I am confused that a railroad can come in and demand your property for no reason at all other than they want to use it to make money.
Don and Sally Garrett have already received notice that Sandersville wants to grab their land. Other families, including Blaine and Diane Smith and Marvin and Pat Smith, are next on Sandersville's list.
My father said, keep the land, keep it whole, and that's what we're doing.
And we spoke to our boys about that, and they just couldn't see us giving away what our family has worked hard for. I said, do you remember during the Depression how hard it was for them to live? Could you imagine how they would feel that we would just give it up like that?
Like the Smiths, the Garretts also plan to pass this land down for generations to come.
I'm leaving the property to my son, Don. He's a 23-year retired now military veteran who served many combat missions. I want him to have a peaceful place to come to get away from everything.
Sandersville's attempt to use the government's eminent domain authority to take land for a non-public use is unconstitutional and violates Georgia eminent domain laws. That's why the Garretts, the Smiths, and other property owners have teamed up with IJ to fight Sandersville's attempt to take their land.
Can they just take your land because they say they want it? The land is ours. We're not gonna let that happen.
Okay, I wanted to show that short video because I did hear about this story. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and this is not the only place that this is happening. There are a lot of even Black people who they are trying to take their land, trying to scare them away, to sell it, try to intimidate people. But you do see here in Georgia that these people have had this land for a very long time and it's passed down, and it is good to keep land. If you own it, please do keep it, don't sell it. I know the money may look good now, but if I were you, I would hang on to it and I would keep it if possible. But yes, eminent domain refers to the power of the government to take private property and convert it into public use, referring to as taking. The Fifth Amendment provides the government may only exercise this power if they provide just compensation to the property owner. A taking may be the actual seizure of property by the government, or the taking may be in the form of a regulatory taking, which occurs when the government restricts a person's use of their property to the point that it constituting a taking. Just reading that part makes me sick to my stomach. But people want to sit up here and say this is such a great country. The American dream. It is so wonderful here. You're living the dream. You're insane. This is a nightmare. This is disgusting. You've worked this property. You bought this property. And because I'm the government and I say so, I'm going to take it from you. I have rich friends that want to do something in this area. I need you to move your A out the way so I can take this and do what I want to do with it, regardless of what you want. And basically with just compensation, the Supreme Court held that the government may seize property through the use of eminent domain as long as it appropriates just compensation to the owner of the property. And it would be determined by appraisal of property fair market value. And let's just say that all of them ended up taking the compensation. And I know that certain people is going to get less of what their property is actually valued. I would never trust that. But yeah, I just wanted to read a little bit of this from Cornell Law about eminent domain. And I just feel like the goalpost is being pushed. Now, at this point, a lot of these corporations, a lot of these uber wealthy people, they feel like they are gods. I have been saying this for I don't know how long. Now, when it was black people, poor people, nobody gave a damn. Now that it's the middle class and it's certain wealthy people who are not super rich, they're not a part of that top percentage, they're going to get ate up too. And some people have been living cushy lives. Some people have been handed a lot of things more than other demographics. And now those things are being snatched away. And this is in the name of greed alone. They don't care. They're on demon time. And now they're going to be sweeping other people up into this. Me personally, I feel bad for a certain demographic because it's been going on for so long, but now everybody else is starting to have the experience. And it's not so funny, and all of the excuses in the world they would have had for a certain demographic, they go all out the window when now they have experienced what said demographic is experiencing and have been experiencing. But I hope that they fight it. I hope that they can keep their land. The U.S. government is out of control. A lot of governments are out of control. Like I said, they think themselves highly powered gods, and it's really interesting to see because what's going to end up happening is they're going to crumble from the inside out. They are going to do themselves in. And it's crazy that they can't even see the forest for the trees. They can't see the big overall picture. They just keep going in this direction where they literally want to make you a slave. Basically, what you're going to be doing, you're not going to be taking any PTO. You're not going to be going on vacations. You're not going to own anything. You're only going to rent. You will not have ownership, and all you will do is work for their corporations and work for them and make them rich and wealthy while they pay you barely enough to survive. The only thing they think you need is food, water, a place to stay, some clothes, not much of it, just a little bit of it. And you need to be happy that you get to go to work for them and make them money. That's how messed up in the mind that they are. But people like to put these type of people on a pedestal as if they did something to earn that money, as if these are not nepotism babies, as if they are not passing down this wealth. And the greed that they have, they can't stop. I mean, you heard, and I'll link that video in this one, where a CEO was saying, people need to get back to work. They need to make the unemployment 50% in this nation because the workers need to be grateful that they have a place to go to work. And the workers are out of control. If you think that this is not backlash for the Great Resignation, you're insane. And personally, I hope the Great Resignation continues. People start grouping up and getting homes together if you can, if they want to keep raising things, because it has gotten absolutely out of control. It is out of control. If anybody wants to talk about a terrorist, the government is a terrorist to the people. It has gotten way too much power and way out of control. And these wealthy people, I'm not even just talking about the 1%ers, but these wealthy people, millionaires and billionaires, are out of control and they're out of hand, and they were given too much power just looking at how much money they have, as if that made them the smartest person in the room, which is ridiculous. But I'll go ahead and end it right here. Let me know what you think about this story, and I will see you in the next one.